Have you ever felt that deep, quiet doubt, wondering if she truly loves you, or if you're just a temporary chapter she's preparing to close? What if the warmth you once felt is fading, and you didn't even realize it until her eyes no longer shine the same way when they look at you? But what if I told you there are 6 rare behaviors that only appear when a woman genuinely, wholeheartedly loves a man? Not guesses, not cliches, but real, time-tested signs rooted in emotion, behavior, and even the wisdom of ancient Stoics. Let's begin with something powerful. These 6 signs aren't just about romance. They're about understanding love through clarity, not confusion. And as Marcus Aurelius himself once explored, the truth of love often reveals itself not in what people say, but in what they consistently do. Before we dive into these powerful signs, I want you to do one thing: stick with me until the very end. What you'll discover today might not only protect your heart, it could change how you understand relationships forever. Now, imagine this: nearly 2,000 years ago, in the vast and often brutal Roman Empire, a man sat alone by candlelight. He was no ordinary man. He was an emperor, one of the most powerful figures in history. But instead of reveling in power, he wrote to himself about love, loyalty, and the human mind. That man was Marcus Aurelius. His words still echo today, louder than ever. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So what does this have to do with love? Because real love, just like real strength, starts with awareness. And when you can recognize how a woman shows love, you'll stop feeling confused, caught off guard, or emotionally unprepared. Let's start by decoding the first sacred behavior. Number 1, she becomes soft in your presence. Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and, for just a second, felt like the entire world faded away? Like the rush of traffic, the noise of daily stress, the weight of unfinished tasks, all of it paused, and the only thing left was her? That moment of stillness? That's not just chemistry. That's emotional intimacy. Now, ask yourself, when was the last time you saw her soften? Slow down. Become more gentle simply because you walked into the room. This isn't weakness. It's not about being fragile or submissive. It's something much deeper, something sacred. Because when a woman truly loves, she doesn't just show affection. She melts around you. She drops the armor. She stops performing for the world. She stops trying to be everything for everyone. Instead, she creates a space for you, a space no one else gets to enter. Let me share a story with you. There once was a man named Elias, stoic, disciplined, always chasing goals, always focused. But something changed, that subtle shift in her energy we just talked about, the softening in her presence. Elias saw it, and it changed everything he believed about love. You see, Elias had been through heartbreak more times than he could count. The kind of heartbreak that makes you build walls, shut doors, and stop believing that real love even exists. He stopped chasing people. He stopped hoping. Until one day, he met her. Her name was Liana, strong, driven, independent, just like every modern woman he thought he understood. But when they were alone, something shifted. Her voice softened. Her laughter came easier. She smiled not politely, but sincerely. And most of all, she opened up. She didn't just lean into his shoulder, she leaned into him emotionally, vulnerably, trusting. And that's when it hit him. This wasn't just chemistry. It wasn't just convenience or compatibility. She wasn't becoming soft because she was weak. She was becoming soft because she loved him. That's what real love does to a woman. It doesn't make her smaller, it frees her. It allows her to put down the armor she's been carrying all day long and simply breathe in your presence. Ask yourself this: have you ever noticed that kind of softness in someone you loved? That gentle shift in her voice when she says your name? The calm in her presence when she's near you? The way she looks at you when she thinks you're not looking? That's not how she acts around just anyone. Because women don't soften for men they like. They soften for men they love. Men who create emotional safety. Men who don't force vulnerability, but earn it through presence, patience, and trust. And here's something profound Marcus Aurelius once wrote: "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So if a woman thinks of you and those thoughts are filled with peace, admiration, and emotional safety, her whole energy changes. Her soul literally starts to color itself around that feeling. You'll see it in her eyes. You'll hear it in her tone. You'll even feel it in the quiet moments where nothing is said, but everything is understood. She becomes your peace. But here's the tragedy. Most men completely miss it. They're too busy chasing external things, proving they're good enough, trying to impress her, or feeding their ego, that they overlook the most sacred signal of all, that she's already given her heart. So let me ask you, was there ever a woman who changed around you? Did her energy soften? Did she let you into her world in a way she didn't with anyone else? Or maybe you missed it. Maybe you didn't recognize what was right in front of you. If so, don't keep that story to yourself. Drop it in the comments. Share the moment you realized a woman truly loved you. Because this video, this message, it's not just a list of signs. It's about your story. You're not just watching this. You're living it. And if you ever notice that softness in a woman, don't ignore it. Because when a woman becomes soft for you, she's not just falling in love. She's handing you her soul. She gives you her time without you having to chase, ask, or prove yourself. That was the second unmistakable sign we uncovered. And it leads us to a deeper truth. One that most men overlook. Think back. Maybe it happened years ago, or maybe it's happening right now. Was there a woman in your life who was constantly busy? Multitasking, hustling, juggling work, family, friends, and chasing her own ambitions. Of course she was, but despite all that, somehow she still made time for you. Not because you begged. Not because she had nothing better to do. But because being around you made her feel calm, seen, and safe. Here's the truth most men miss. Time is a woman's most sacred currency. She can't rewind it. She can't multiply it. And the world is always demanding more of it, from every direction. Between work emails, family obligations, group chats, self-care routines, and the never-ending pressure to keep up on social media, her minutes are gold. So when a woman gives you her time, she's giving you something she can never get back. And when she gives it freely, without complaint, without conditions, that's not convenience, that's love. Let me tell you a real story. There was a man named Ree. He wasn't the richest guy in the room. He wasn't the most charming. He didn't walk in with swagger or flash, but he was present. He was kind. And most importantly, he listened, not just with his ears, but with his whole self. Then came Alina. To everyone else, she was untouchable. Her schedule, packed, her phone, constantly buzzing. Her focus, laser sharp. Her vibe, unreachable. People tried to win her attention, but no one ever got close. Until Ree. He didn't chase. He didn't play games. He didn't try to impress. He just showed up steadily, quietly, consistently. And little by little, She changed. Alina began texting first. She rearranged her schedule. She canceled meetings. She made time just to sit with Ree in silence, sipping coffee. No words needed. Ree was confused at first. He asked himself, why is she doing all this? But what he didn't realize, what you need to realize, is this: a woman won't sacrifice her time for a man she doesn't deeply care about. She just won't. Period. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Alina wasn't wasting her time. She was investing it in a man who brought peace to her soul. Now, think about your own life. Who has made time for you? Not because they had to, not out of obligation, but because they genuinely wanted to be with you. And here's the twist: it's not about how much time she gives. It's about how intentionally she gives it. She remembers the small things you say. She listens to your weird stories. She watches the shows you love, even if she's not into them. She's present because you matter. That's not convenience. That's not curiosity. That's love. If a woman ever made time for you like that, drop it in the comments. Say, she made time for me. Because these moments, they're more than signs. They're evidence that love was already there. If a woman gave you her time without you asking, without strings attached, that wasn't random. That was a reflection of how deeply she valued your presence. Now, let's take it a step further. Because when a woman truly loves you, she doesn't just show up in the good times. She shows up in the storm. #3. She shows respect even when you fail. Let's be real. Have you ever failed in front of someone you loved? Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you lost your confidence. Maybe you lost your way in life and couldn't see a path forward. And when it happened, did she stay? Did she still look at you the same way, even when you had nothing to offer? Here's the harsh truth most men only realize when it's too late. A woman's real love doesn't show when you're winning. It shows when you've lost everything. Let me share a story about a man named Malik. He was the kind of man who had fire in his eyes. Ambitious, relentless, focused. He poured everything he had into building his own business from the ground up. And through all the late nights, the long days, the quiet sacrifices, his girlfriend Arya was right there. Not loud, not demanding. Just there, believing in him quietly, steadily. Then the unthinkable happened. His business collapsed. A partner betrayed him. 2 years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice gone. Malik expected her to walk away. He braced himself for the moment she'd look at him differently. With disappointment, with doubt. But that moment never came. Instead, Arya looked at him with even more respect. She didn't say, "Why didn't you see this coming?" She didn't ask, "What are you going to do now?" She simply looked him in the eyes and said, "You're still the same man to me." That single sentence changed everything for Malik. In that moment, he realized something most men never understand until it's already over. A woman who truly loves you will respect you even in your lowest moment. She doesn't love you because of your success. She loves you despite your setbacks. She loves the man behind the victories, the one who tries, who takes risks, who carries invisible burdens every single day. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." And that's exactly what Arya did. She didn't offer fake praise to soothe his ego. She didn't sugarcoat the truth. What she gave him was real. Her respect wasn't about outcomes. It was about character. Now bring that back to your own life. Have you ever had a woman who saw you not for what you could give her, but for who you truly were at your core? And more importantly, did she stay when life knocked you flat on your back? If she did, drop a comment and let it out. This is your space, your story. Because respect during failure, that's not admiration. That's love in its rawest, most powerful form. When a woman respects you at your lowest, that's not just love, it's devotion. And if you've ever experienced that kind of loyalty, you know how rare and powerful it truly is. Let's be honest, we all want someone who cheers for us when we're winning. When everything's going well, the supporters are everywhere. But that's not the test of loyalty. The real test? It's when you're down, when your confidence is cracked, when you're not the man you want to be, yet she still sees you like you are. Not the woman who stays in that moment, who doesn't belittle you, doesn't compare you, doesn't make you feel small. That woman is different. She sees the man underneath the mess. Not because he's perfect, but because he tries, because he fights, because he hasn't given up. And that kind of woman, she's not just supportive, she's priceless. So if you've ever had her in your life, or if you're lucky enough to have her now, don't take it lightly. Because when a woman respects you at your worst, she's not just loving you, she's choosing you fully. #4. She defends you in your absence. Let me ask you something simple but important. What does she say about you when you're not around? Does she protect your name? Or does she let others tear it down, stay quiet, or laugh it off? See, most people are loyal when you're in the room, when you're watching, when your presence holds them accountable. But real loyalty? It shows up in silence, in conversations you'll never hear, in rooms you'll never walk into. Let me tell you a story that still gives me goosebumps. There was a guy named Ryan. He wasn't flashy, didn't have a big title, didn't drive a luxury car. He was still rebuilding his life from the ground up, still figuring out who he wanted to be. But he had something real. He had Tara. They weren't all over social media. They didn't post perfect couple photos, but behind the scenes, their connection was real. Ryan gave Tara honesty. He gave her respect. And in return, she gave him something most men never even know to ask for. She defended him when he wasn't there. One night, Ryan couldn't make it to a birthday dinner. Tara went without him, and his group of friends were all there. At some point in the evening, someone at the table made a joke. He said, "So when are you gonna trade Ryan in for a real man?" People laughed. It was meant to be playful. But Tara, she didn't smile. She looked him straight in the eyes and calmly said, "If you knew the kind of man Ryan is, you'd be ashamed of that comment." And the room? It went silent. She didn't shout. She didn't argue. She didn't make a dramatic scene. But in that moment, she honored him. She showed the kind of loyalty every man hopes for, but rarely receives. Loyalty when he's not there to defend himself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And Tara lived those words not with noise, but with action. She didn't wait for applause. She didn't need an audience. She simply stood by her man, even when he wasn't around to see it. Now ask yourself, has anyone ever defended you behind closed doors? If they did, you'd feel it, even if you never heard the words. And if you haven't had that yet, don't settle for anything less. When someone defends your name behind closed doors, when they guard your dignity even when you're not around, that's not just love. That's protection of the soul. Tara didn't speak up for Ryan because he was perfect. She did it because she loved him. Because to her, His reputation, his honor, his presence, even in absence, mattered deeply. So let me ask you, has anyone ever defended your name when you weren't in the room? Did a woman ever protect your character, even when it wasn't easy? Even when it cost her approval, popularity, or comfort? If the answer is yes, hold on to that memory. That's not casual love. That's not convenience. That's rare. If you've ever had a woman stand up for you like that, drop a comment. What did she say? How did it make you feel? Did it change the way you looked at her? Because here's a brutal truth that too many men learn too late. A woman who talks behind your back, who lets people laugh at you, who stays silent when lies are told about you. She doesn't love you the way you deserve to be loved, but a woman who defends you without needing an audience, without needing credit. She's doing something sacred. She's guarding not just your name, but your soul. And in a world full of noise, gossip, and betrayal, she becomes your silence, your strength, your shield. #5. She adjusts her life to fit yours. Now let's shift from words to action. Have you ever had a woman change her routine, her comfort zone, even her long-term plans just to be closer to you? Not because you asked, not because she was pressured, but because she wanted to enter your world. Because real love, it's not just in the kisses or the compliments. It's in the quiet sacrifices, the subtle adjustments, the small daily choices that whisper, "You matter more than my convenience." Let me tell you about Zion. He met Hannah one rainy evening inside a cozy little bookstore. They couldn't have been more different. Zion was the free spirit, spontaneous, full of wild ideas, always chasing the next spark. Hannah was the planner, grounded, organized, a woman who had her next 5 years mapped out in color-coded folders. They weren't supposed to fit. But life, as it often does, had other plans. As their connection deepened, Zion began noticing something. Hannah started staying up late just to hear about his scattered dreams and creative projects. She was always in bed by 10, but for him, she made the exception. She began drinking coffee, something she used to avoid, just to sit beside him at his favorite cafe. She even adjusted her morning run so they could share breakfast together. And when Zion hit a rough patch in life, she didn't walk away. She didn't say, "This is too much." Instead, she moved cities. She changed the location of her dream job to stay close. And not once did she say, "Look at all I've done for you." She didn't need to, because her love was never about proving something. It was about choosing him daily, silently, wholeheartedly. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." And Hannah understood that. She saw Zion not as a project, not as a risk, but as a man worth adjusting for. Now, think about your own life. Has a woman ever made space for you? Changed her rhythm, her plans, even her comfort, just to stay in sync with your world? Because that kind of effort, that kind of alignment, it's not forced, it's not casual, it's love in motion. And coming up next is one of the rarest expressions of all. The moment she shows you a side of herself no one else gets to see. She lets you in on her insecurities. Hannah didn't just adjust her schedule for Zion, she adjusted her life around his. And she did it without ever losing who she was. That's not sacrifice, it's devotion in its purest form. And here's something important to remember. A woman's love is no greater than what she's willing to adjust for you without losing herself. That's exactly what Hannah did. She didn't abandon her dreams. She didn't erase her identity. She simply wove Zion into her life, without needing to be asked. Now, let me ask you something personal. Has anyone ever done that for you? Have you ever seen a woman suddenly shift her schedule, change her routine, even bend her long-held plans just to walk beside you in your journey? And even more importantly, did you notice it? Because sometimes we get so locked into our own goals, our own problems, our own ambition, that we don't even realize someone is quietly making space for us in their life. If you've ever had a woman do that, drop it in the comments. Say, she made space for me. Let's not forget the women who didn't just support us with words, but with consistent, quiet action. The women who made us feel worth it. And if you haven't experienced that kind of love yet, know this. When a woman truly loves you, she doesn't just fit into your world. She reshapes her own world around you. She makes time. She makes space. She makes adjustments. And the most beautiful part? You might not even notice it in the moment, but years down the line, you'll look back and realize she didn't just love me. She walked with me, even when it meant stepping off her own path. And that, my friend, that's not just love. That's partnership. That's devotion. #6. She forgives you. Not because you're perfect, but because she loves you. Let's talk about something raw and real. Have you ever hurt someone who loved you deeply? And even after the damage, she forgave you? Not because you said all the right words, not because you deserved forgiveness, but because her love for you was stronger than the pain you caused. That's not easy. That's not ordinary. That's sacred. Let me share a story about a man named Farhan. He wasn't a bad guy, but he was careless. He forgot things, important things, birthdays, messages, promises. He spoke out of frustration sometimes. He'd snap without thinking. He'd say things he didn't mean. He was still healing from old wounds, carrying emotional baggage he didn't fully understand, and because of that sometimes, he didn't know how to love properly. But then there was Amira. She was patient, but don't mistake that for weakness. She had standards. She knew her worth. She didn't tolerate disrespect, but she also saw something in Farhan, something he couldn't even see in himself. Then one night, during a fight, Farhan crossed a line. He said something that cut deep. Words he couldn't take back, and he knew it. He expected her to leave, to slam the door, to walk away like so many others had. But she didn't, single quotes, did that. She stayed. She cried, but she stayed. And instead of saying, "It's fine," she said something far more powerful. She looked him in the eye and said, "That hurt me, but I know that's not the real you." That one line, "That hurt me, but I know that's not the real you," stayed with Farhan forever. Because in that moment, he realized something powerful. Something Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations: "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Amira didn't respond with rage or punishment. She didn't weaponize his mistake. She didn't fight cruelty with cruelty. She responded with grace. She forgave not because Farhan was perfect, and not because she was weak. She forgave because she loved him deeply enough to see beyond the pain. She saw the brokenness and the beauty, and she chose to stay. Now let me turn this inward to you. Have you ever had a woman forgive you? Not because she was desperate, not because she was blind to your flaws, but because she saw you, the real, unpolished, emotionally messy version of you, and still said, "I see your heart, and I'm not leaving." If you felt that kind of soul-level grace, drop it in the comments. Say, "She forgave me," or maybe, You're still carrying the weight of the one who couldn't forgive you. Maybe her silence changed everything. Whatever your story is, know this. Real love isn't built on perfection. It's built on growth. A woman who truly loves you won't ignore your mistakes, but she won't chain you to them either. She'll give you space to grow, room to rise, permission to come back stronger. That she won't drag your past into every fight. She won't use your flaws as weapons, because she doesn't just believe in who you were, she believes in who you can become. If you've been blessed enough to receive that kind of love, don't you dare take it for granted. In a world where people walk away at the first sign of discomfort, a woman who forgives, that's a woman who loves. So if she's still in your life, go make things right. Her forgiveness wasn't weakness. It was strength, wrapped in silence, whispering softly, I choose you, again. Now let's bring it all together. Let's recap the 6 rare and sacred signs that a woman truly loves you. She becomes soft in your presence. She invests time without being asked. She respects you, even when you fail. She defends you when you're not in the room. She adjusts her life to fit yours. She forgives you, not because you're perfect, but because she loves you. These aren't random gestures. They are deliberate, consistent, powerful signs of real love. And here's the truth. You can't buy these things. You can't demand them. You earn them. You earn them by being the kind of man Marcus Aurelius described. Not ruled by impulse, but grounded in discipline. Not chasing pleasure, but anchored in purpose. Because a Stoic man does not beg for love. He attracts it by living with integrity. So the next time you wonder, does she really love me? Don't just listen to her words. Look at her actions. Because real love isn't loud, it's consistent. It's quiet strength. It's daily devotion. And if she's doing these 6 things, you don't just have her attention, you have her soul. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and never take real love for granted.